Well, good evening, one and all. Welcome along once again, as ever. It's Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to the Studio Rats live Q&A.
Woohoo! Howdy doody.
It's quite enough of that. How are you, buddy?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yes, not
What have you been
bad.
up to?
Bit tired today.
Oh yeah.
If I'm honest. Yeah,
Why is that?
it's been Daddy Day.
Oh,
So-
mate, that's gonna wear you out.
I've been running around like a lunatic. But you know, it's all good. I'm in the studio, aircon's on. The world's a marvelous place. Good evening to Dave Stockton and Matt Wright. Let me also put the links to tonight's show in. So if you want to join us live on air, if you've got a question or anything like that, please do feel free to jump in and say hello. And even if you just want to say hello, it's always nice to talk. So what have you been up to, buddy? You've been busy?
Yeah, what have I been doing? Do you know what? I don't know what I've been doing. I've been doing videos, obviously, as that's just all I seem to do. What have I been doing? Well, I've just been trying to plan guitar looking at day tomorrow, which is we're going to talk about in a minute.
We will do.
And I want to get some new gear. I want to get something new. So we're going to ask the masses, as you like to call them.
It's going to be an expensive day tomorrow, isn't it?
It's going to be an expensive day. Actually, I need to remember. I've got some cash somewhere.
in a shoebox underneath your mattress.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. But you know, like how
Del Boy.
No, it isn't dodgy cash. It's not like cash. It's like it's just like money that I've just accumulated. So I'm going to spend that on pedals. I think something like that. So, So should we tell everyone what we're doing?
Reveal all, my friend. Reveal all.
Okay, so tomorrow, James and myself, and possibly Simon Curd, who came on the show last week, and was asking about buying a telly.
That's a Telecaster, not a TV.
Not a TV. No, you go to Curry's for that. Yeah, we're going to go to Guitar in Epsom. And have a bit of a look around, and
I'm so excited about going to a shop.
I know, and we're going to film it, and we're going to do like idiots, 3 idiots go and buy a guitar or something.
Yeah, something like that. Or 2 idiots and me, because I'll be the other side of the camera probably. But yeah, thanks to Guitar for letting us in and letting us take over one of their demo rooms for the day. I suspect they're probably quite busy. And they've still managed to let us in, which is great. A few other things going on this week, isn't there? There's been some other gear news hit the streets, so to speak.
There is. Sorry, I'm looking at the comments.
You are ready?
Yeah, we're getting comments already. Actually, should we just do it? Should we do a couple of comments?
Yeah, dive in.
Okay, I'll just say hi to everyone. But David, hi Matt, hi David. David says, Paul, thanks for the heads up on the Highland Plectrum Company. I bought a 2 shilling one. Sounds and feels great. I usually use a 3mm big stubby, but this feels even better. Yeah, they're wicked, aren't they?
Nice.
They're such great. I've got my one here just because it's I can grab it easily, and they sound brilliant. It's such a great thing. Hi Safi. Hi Renee. Is that Renee?
Renee, I think.
Renee. Hi John. John's in the house. Larry
North in the house.
Larry North in the house. Matt Wright says, how's the Quad Cortex, Paul?
Do you want to tell them the update today?
Well, it hasn't been confirmed. Should we let them know next week, because it wasn't confirmed when I spoke to Guitar. So let's it looks like it's getting pushed back again. But why? Okay, John Green says, why only go to guitar supermarkets? That's a good question, and the reason is because they've got everything. And guitar. I mean, I love Guitar. Guitar's not far from me, and they're nice guys in there. They're not a bunch of cork sniffers.
I love that phrase.
Yeah, I love that phrase as well. Yeah, it's a good shop. It's a great shop, isn't it, James?
Yeah, I think they've got a really good balance people like Guitar, Andertons. Yes, they do have a lot of stuff that many of the more discerning guitar player might turn their nose up at. However, they don't kick out the weekend warriors, the kids who go in there just to ogle at beautiful guitars, because they've actually realized that those kids who go in there ogling at beautiful guitars and have a nice experience go back to buy their first guitar and then go back to buy their second, third, their valve amp, their fourth guitar. And when they get to a disrespectable age, they go in there to buy their ridiculously over the top valve amp and PRS super strat thing and spend a small fortune. So I'm all for the guitar supermarkets who do, yes, they've got their cheaper, cost-effective ranges, their own brand guitars, whatever. But they've also got the high-end stuff. And if you do want to spend a couple of quid and go somewhere that's got a range of guitars, great. Yes, the boutique places on Denmark Street are fantastic, and you can find an absolute gem or three. I have in the past. But let's not knock the... I don't even want to call them guitar supermarkets, because that to me sounds like guitar, like, you know, the car supermarkets where you get everything.
Yeah, I don't think Guitar is a guitar supermarket. I think you go in there and they've got like a boutique wall. They've got like a really sort of ultra, things like like Nick Huber stuff. They've got some of that. like things that are made
by hand beautifully.
Yeah, and they only make a few a year, that sort of thing. And then, they've got the PRSs, the things, if we go into, there's Guitar Village, which is quite close to me, which is in Farnham.
Yeah.
If I go in there and I say, have you got this PRS? Have you got that PRS? Or have you got that Strat? You can guarantee they're going to say, no, we haven't got that in stock. So, yeah, I think it's I think we made the right choice.
The truth of the matter is, I think in the US, you've got Guitar Center, Sam Ash.
That feels like a guitar supermarket.
But the good ones, like the Guitar Center in Hollywood, is a great shop. The Sam Ash, that's almost bang opposite it in Hollywood, is amazing.
What's the one we go to? What's the hate?
The Anaheim one's a bit, but but you can get some good stuff in there. I went into the Anaheim Guitar Center and said, I want to buy a jazz bass. In fact, that's where I bought my telly from as well. And I tried 15 different jazz basses, because they had everything from the Squiers, the Koreans, the Japanese, the Mexicans, all the way up to the super custom shop deluxe super duper all single dancing. And the truth of the matter is, if you don't know what you want, you can try a load of stuff. If you don't know, you know the make and model of the guitar you are probably going to buy. I don't always. I might just go in and go, I want to buy a telly. Which one do you want? I want. I want to try a few. Okay.
Larry says, options other than the Rev series for a dual valve amp. Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh.
A dual valve amp. I think if you're looking for, it depends if you're looking for like high end, something like a Boogie, Triple Crown.
A Road King is a
Road King.
It's a great amp.
Although it is still a little bit metal.
Yeah, but you do have the clean and crunch channels. You don't. It's not all high gain. Very high, wasn't it? Yeah. To be honest, you could do a lot worse than a Synergy.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I think you're right. That's good. That's good.
I am absolutely loving that thing. It's funny that my Chandler is my Voxy kind of Englishy boutiquey. What I'd call the Paul Drew tone, just on the edge of breakup, cleans it on the edge of breakup.
Yeah,
I've then got the Synergy, which is my kind of super high gain. It's got a clean channel, but I've got loads of different modules now that are generally high gain, and I've got the Marshall coming, the 800, which is my kind of British rock and roll sound. I think that's me done for amps. So I think the Synergy is a really good choice, because that way, if you want to go rock and roll, you can, or if you want to go Dumble or Overdrive or Buxton Betty or the Friedman's or whatever you want, that's an option. And actually, the modules are not that expensive for a whole new valve amp.
Yeah,
it's great.
Okay. Bruce, hello from Long Island. Hi, Bruce. Steve Ball says, good evening, gents. Loved your televid, Paul. Please, can you do a video on why I need 3 Telecasters so I can make sure I show the missus before I buy? And is there any neural news? Hopefully you heard that, Steve, then, about... No, I mean, we're going to Guitar tomorrow, so we'll find out exactly what's going on.
Have you paid for yours now?
Yeah, I paid for mine because I want to get it before the end of the tax year.
Exactly.
Before the end of the tax year.
Yes. I'd like to get it before the end of next tax year.
yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Last Rolo, have you tried Music Man Sterling Luke? I haven't tried the Sterling.
I haven't tried the Sterling. I've tried the Luke and I love it. I nearly bought one at last year's guitar show. But I thought it's a bit daft to do the show and then having spent 3 days on the booth, spend everything and more on a guitar at the show.
If I was buying a Music Man, there's 2 that I'll be looking at. I'd look at the James Valentine, and I'd look at the Luke. They're the only ones I think I'd bother with.
There is one other that I would look at.
Oh no! Don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm going to say it. I would look at the Luke. John Petrucci, because
that's the biggest selling model.
I've played the JP6, and it's a beautiful guitar. What's the new one? The Majesties look amazing, and they play really nicely. I just can't get over the fact that I would look like a Dream Theater clone, whereas at least the Petrucci, the JP series, look like conventional guitars.
I can't get my head around that. The shield, I can't, and the fake carbon fiber. No.
That's the Majesties, though. That's not the JP series.
Yeah, no. The John Petrucci's are their biggest selling guitar of all time
because they're beautiful guitars.
Yeah,
and so you've got the Ernie Ball, and you've got the Family Reserve, which are the Ball Special Reserve, which are the super high end ones. But it's Sterling, isn't it? Sterling, and then there's another one, isn't there, lower than that? But the Sterling one's a great guitar.
The sub, yeah.
I've played some sub basses, which have played really nicely, and some Sterling stuff that's played really, really nicely. And it's not the same price as the top end stuff, but it's still 4 figures.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think you can go wrong with it. To be honest, I think the quality is they're supposed to be really good.
Yeah,
and the Luke's the one I'd probably go for last Rolo. So
did the Luke that I was going to buy had the red to amber flame maple top. It looked. Mwah.
Do you know what I really like? I really like the Ball Family Reserves. I really like what they do with it. The thing I hate about the Ball Family Reserves is the
Ball Family Reserve in the
no, on the fret on the fingerboard, it just looks rubbish.
Yeah. It looks a bit kind of like stamp.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's almost like, oh yeah, I bought the expensive one. It's just I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
Jolly Boys outing, Del Boy. Yeah, that's for tomorrow. Nice one. Yeah. Atari Wolf. I love Jaguar guitars, but I'm stuck between the Vintera classic vibe. Can't afford the USA's.
I'd love a Jaguar. They're great looking, great sounding.
Oh, no, what's the difference between the Vintera and the classic vibe?
No idea. Isn't the classic vibe a
Squier? Yeah,
Squier effectively, and Vintera. Yeah,
I think the Vintera is not a Squier.
No.
Let me have a quick look. Are you right to?
Yeah.
Let's have a quick Vintera. Okay, hold on.
So I'll put the Potter's wheel on or something like that while you're.
Yeah, so the Vintera is like the vintage looking. Oh, they do a telly with a Bigsby.
Are you going to say that's wrong now?
No, I love it. I love a Bigsby. I love a telly. That's me all over. That is. So I think the Vinteras are the proper Fender ones, and they're nitrocellulose,
right?
Which is absolutely brilliant. I'd definitely have a look at that. What was the other one?
Classic vibe. I think they're the Squiers, aren't they?
Let's have a look.
All the they're a Squier family.
I think. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Oh yes, they are Squiers. Yeah. Okay, so
If you can run to it, then it sounds like Vintera is the way forward.
I'd always. I mean, there's a big price difference.
Mm-hmm.
So the classic vibe Jaguar is $399, and the Vintera one is, I think it was $799.
That's Squier to Fender Mexican money.
Yeah. I mean, I'd always, if I was you, I'd always try and go for the proper one. I think you get better resale value, and see if you can find one second hand. Atari Wolf. I think that would be a
good shout.
Yeah. Patrick says hi from Montreal, Canada. Hi, Patrick. Holla, guys. It's David.
Sorry, couldn't help myself.
What's that?
What's it all about?
Oh, very good. Very good.
Perhaps not.
Alfie. Morning, guys. Stephen James. Hi, Stephen. Evening, guys. Hope you're all well. All good. Thanks, mate. Kunal Silku Guitar. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hello, mate. You all right?
I'm loving the fact
check out Green. Sorry?
I'm loving the fact we're getting a lot of the same people coming through now. It's great. It's great to have our little clan group. I hate to use the word community because that means we're fostering something, but hey, if this is our weekly guitar music hangout, then I'm down with that.
Everyone, go and check out at some point. Not now because you're watching this, but after this, go and check out Kreenal's YouTube channel. He does like what I learned from a particular player, and it's really good. It's really good. And he's a great little player. Yeah, really good player. Really nice feel. Andy John says, keep up the great job, guys. I'm looking to add to my arsenal just a Katana 100. Would you recommend a Rev D20 or a GT1000 for a guy who plays at home and on silent church stages? Oh, that's a really good question.
Ooh. Well, the Rev D20 has the 2 notes option in it, so it can be silent, and you have then got a proper beautiful valve amp that you can then as a pedal platform.
I'd ask the question, Andy, have you got a pedal board? If you've got effects already, I think I'd always try and recommend someone to go for a nice valve amp. The D20 is great.
Yes.
And the GT1000 is great as well, but
there is a valve amp. There's always going to be a place for a valve amp. The GT1000, excuse me, is going to, at a point, come of age. It's going to. Oh, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say it's got a shelf life. Sonically, I think.
Yeah, I think it's technology, isn't it? It's at some point that technology will be outdated.
Oh, and speaking of which, technology and stuff, my 11 racks developed a fault.
It's quite old.
It is old. It's like 12, 13 years old now.
Take it out to the garden, put it out of its misery.
It's only a minor fault, but it's still a fault.
What is it?
The input jack on the front and the output to amp jack, there's an intermittent fault on the output to amp jack if I just do it as a straight jump. So if basically the software can route the output to amp is the same as the input from the guitar.
Oh, okay.
I think there's a broken connection between the two. So I could probably open it up and have a look, because let's face it, it's well out of warranty by now.
Yeah. Yeah, hope that helps, Andy. I think that you'll love both of them. Yeah,
the instant gratification is going to come from the GT1000. I think the long-term pleasure is going to come from the Rev.
Yeah, definitely. But if you buy the GT1000, download the patches that I did. They're free, and download them. And I think because when I first plugged in the GT1000, I was like, oh god, this is hard work. I didn't like it at all. And then I started to get into it and started programming some stuff, and
cool.
Found the way through. Renee says, saw the telly video. Just love the first CS custom shop. Incredible sound. How are your experiences with Squier Classic Vibe and Fender Player? I've yet to see unbiased reviews of them. We haven't tried them. Maybe we can try that tomorrow, James.
Yes, I mean, we are going shopping tomorrow, and there's a fair chance that our credit cards will take a bashing, but I don't think it should all be about £5,000-6,000 guitars.
No.
I think we should have a look at some of the more affordable, usable, playable stuff. I really do. And the other nice thing about somewhere like Guitar or Andertons or anything, they all have Lutheras and techs on site.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, I like this one, but the action's a bit high. And they'll tweak your guitars for you there and then. It's not just a case of, I've got to send it off to someone to get it set up or whatever. They can do tweaks and pushes. So if it's got 9s on it, but you want 10s, for example, they will do it and do the setup for you there and then.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a bonus rather than going to some little backstreet shop where the guy might have 15, £30,000 guitars, but you know where I'm going.
Yeah. So we'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at those classic vibes and the player tomorrow. Bruce says, Paul, I have 4 tellies and each one is uniquely different, but great in its own way. Wouldn't part with any of them. Yeah, definitely. It's funny, my tellies are all sound. They sound different to me, and they sound different in the studio. I wonder if they sound different over YouTube. Do they sound different over YouTube?
I think it's one of those things. Yes, they do.
Okay.
But I think there's as much about the way it makes you feel as the way it makes you play.
Yeah.
And what you play about how they sound. Does that make sense?
Yeah. My my Squier, the brown one, that's really reactive. It's really I can't explain it. When you hit this, it's just very immediate, and that's very different to the other one, which is more smoother and.
Yeah, I mean, remember these are made of wood. So I mean, when I bought my bass, my Yamaha TRB5, which let's face it is a machine-made bass. It's not a custom shop or handmade, whatever. And this is going back 20-something years now when I bought it. They had 4 in the shop, and all 4 were different. All 4 felt entirely different, sounded different, because wood is a natural thing. Just because the piece of wood went in the same machine and was cut by the same machine and came out looking the same color doesn't mean that timber is the same, because it's wood.
We'll try that. We'll do that tomorrow. What we'll do, we'll pick up a couple of like custom shop Gibsons or a couple of custom shop Strats and stuff like that, and we'll see what the difference is. Where are we? John Green says, Paul, if you're thinking of a Music Man Valentine, save some money and get a used Axis Super Sport. It's much the same thing. I thought the Super Sport was the Van Halen.
Don't think Van Halen. My mate Mike had a Super Sport, and it was a brilliant guitar. Absolutely brilliant guitar.
Was that wasn't that the Van Halen style? It was when Eddie Van Halen left Music Man. That's what I thought happened.
I mean, it's got the Floyd Rose and can do all the woo stuff on it.
No. They also did one without the Floyd. I think they did one with just like a normal sort of Strat style trim. Black Dream sent us some. He sent us $5. Thanks, Black Dream.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Deserves one of those.
That'll pay for our lunch tomorrow.
Where are you going? Subway?
Yeah.
We might actually get to the pub tomorrow, won't we?
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
We could go to the pub.
Go to the pub.
Not too many because I'm driving, but oh my god.
Yeah,
an actual pint with musicians. I nearly said normal people then.
Where are we? Okay, so sorry. Black Dream says, love your GT1000 patches. How should I set my amp tone controls running into the front of a first gen Katana 50? So I wouldn't run it into the front of it. I'd probably run it into the no, it's Katana. It's a 50, isn't it? You haven't got an effects loop.
Ooh, no, run it into the power amp in. Is there not a power amp?
You haven't got that on the 50.
Oh, then you're going to have to turn off speaker emulation and amp emulation and just flatten the amp.
I don't know if you can do that. I wonder if there's a way. There might be a way that you can actually just turn off all the processing. But yeah, what you want to do is you want to go into GT1000 and turn off the speaker emulation. That's the first thing you want to do.
Otherwise, it
And
will sound
then-
very strange.
Yeah. You don't. Yeah, it would just sound more woolly. And I think I've got a feeling Boss did a video on this. If you've got a GT1000, plugging it into a Katana. So have a look online, Black Dream. I'll have a look. I'll have a look and see if I can help out. What's that?
If not, Paul's going to make one.
Well, no, I did make one. I think I made one with how to use a Katana with the GT1000.
Okay, cool. Have a look at that then.
Floth Blythe. It's a cool name.
Very cool name.
Hi guys, love your work. I'm striving to get a nice bass sound in my band recording. I use Logic Pro and Apollo Twin. I don't feel DIing works for me. What method do you feel works for you when recording bass guitar? Sorry, it's just spun up. Bass guitar and do you rate a Shure Beta 52A to get the job done? I must add, I'm not a fan of third-party apps.
Okay. If I'm using Apollo,
I'm gonna go and get something while you're talking.
Yep. If I'm using Apollo Twin, I would get something like the Eden bass amp model thing, and I would use that in the what's it called, Paul? The thingy slot. What's the slot called? The unison slot. The unison slot.
Unison slot. Yeah.
I would use one of the kind of there's a beautiful Ampeg one, the Ampeg SVT Pro I really like, and I like the Eden one, but I do like quite a modern, pumpy, polished bass sound. I'm not one for gritty bass sounds, even though I am coming around to the idea of putting distortion on bass in the mix. Try that, or if you have a bass amp that has a DI out of it, like what I have, I've had more compliments on my bass sound, and since I got the oh god, what's it called? The Dark Glass, the Alpha Omega.
That's really good.
That bass sound is awesome. The DI out of that thing is mwah. And you don't actually have to buy the amp. You could buy one of their the Dark Glass pedals, which sound incredible. Yeah, if you want to stick a microphone in front of a bass cab, a Shure Beta 52A will be a great thing.
Yeah,
perfect.
I bought one of them for bass. It's a Tech 21 VT bass, and it's a SVT type thing. You can get some drive out of it. Really good. That changed the way that I started recording bass, and I always use that now. If I have to record bass by myself, actually I forgot to do it on the last one, but if I was doing a proper bass track, I would use that. I really like them. They're really good.
But say if you want to keep inside the kind of the Apollo and UAD workflow, check out some of the UAD bass sound. Really, really good. And again, depending on the sound, the style of bass you play and the sound you want, there's going to be something in there that you'll probably like. Yeah, for me, it's the Eden or the SVT Pro.
Nice. Lefty Mike, he tried the Scuff Mess Gear amp sim, and dang, it's good. Yes, it's really good. Nice one.
Yes,
nice
I like that as well.
David Labie says, I've owned an OLP JP6 12 years ago or so before Sterling. The tremolo was so bad, even with the locking tuners, so I had to install a tremolo no system for it to be playable. Sold to buy the real thing. Yeah, I think I think the old stuff, that OLP, that's probably the old sub stuff.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, I wasn't that impressed with it,
but yeah, a student had a sub Music Man bass, you know, the kind of proper Music Man style bass, and it was really nice. So, you know, it's like most guitars, it's like many guitars. You occasionally get an absolute diamond in the rough. I've played some Squiers that I've gone, hang on, this isn't a Squier.
Yeah. I need to stop being a snob and. Well, no, I did that video. On where I was playing Harrison's. So my son called Harrison, playing his guitar, and the neck pickup on that was great. The guitar's a bit of a dog. It's a bit hard to play, but anyway, Andy Johns, Paul, I do have the beginning of a pedalboard tuner, TS9 ODR. Sorry, I do have the beginning of a pedalboard tuner, TS9 ODR1 ditto. Needs a verb delay and a Marshall sound. Rev D20 sounds killer, but am I missing out not having stereo?
No. No.
I personally, I love, if I can go stereo, I will go stereo every time.
Really? Do you not think it makes mixing just an absolute stereo wash of nightmare?
No.
Oh no. I if I'm mixing and I've got 9 or 12, 15 stereo guitars, unless there is something that categorically makes them stereo, like a ping pong delay or a big chorus, something like that.
Yep.
I'm bouncing them to mono.
Interesting. Okay. The thing is, Andy, when if you've got a mono guitar signal, if you've got a mono guitar, and even I just say live, let's take the recording out of this. Let's say live, and you play through it, and you're happy with that, and then someone says to you, plug in another amp, we'll do a stereo thing, and then you go, oh my god, what was I? What have I been missing? This is unbelievable. It's in the 90s, I was gonna say 80s, but I was probably a bit young to be out gigging in the 80s. But in the 90s, I had like a big rack with stereo, a big stereo thing, and I loved it.
When was your first gig? How old were you?
I was 15, probably.
My first gig was in 1985.
1985. You were like 9 or something.
I was like 7. I was 7 years old at the first gig playing drums.
Oh my god! Please, if I ever see a 7-year-old drummer, I'm running a mile.
I used to do pub gigs at 7 years old.
Did you?
Yeah. I was, for a 7-year-old, I was loaded.
Hey, do you remember? I remember going to Donington once. Do you remember the Donington?
Yeah,
it's called Download. Yeah, it was Monster Rock then. And I remember going to Donington and seeing, what's his name? He's even got a YouTube channel now. What's Steve Vai's protege called?
Oh,
Thomas McRocklin.
Okay, I was
Thomas
thinking
McRocklin, sorry, McRocklin, whatever it is. He was great, and he was about that age.
Yeah, well, and then you've got me.
I would say, would you say it's missing out stereo? I would say stereos. It's really nice to have a stereo sound. It's funny when I haven't got it, I don't miss it. If I've got like an amp, but when you got it, you just go, "Oh, this is great."
I think stereo live, yes. If you're the guitar player and you can have a stereo rig, fantastic. But I think for studio, you're going to start layering parts up anyway, so it becomes less of an issue unless you want that big stereo ping pong delay thing, and then just do it in post.
Yeah,
do it in the mix.
Steve Ball says, "I'd love an Squier. I quite like the Brad Paisley one with the secret neck pickup." So I've heard one.
Is it Paisley?
Brad Paisley. He has got a Paisley one. Yeah, he has got a Paisley one. So I've heard the Brad Paisley, and that I forgot what they call it. It's called the Stealth pickup or something. It's something like that. It's a Seymour Duncan, isn't it? And so, yeah. I was really disappointed with it because, it just sounded dull. It didn't sound like how a Chelly pickup should sound to me. I think with the Brad Paisley one, what they did was they took the aesthetics, and that was more important than the sound.
Yeah,
because it looks awesome, and an Squier is awesome, but it's not quite as versatile. But to keep it as looking like a single coil, but then to put the pickup underneath, and then to have a higher output pickup because it's got to get through.
Yes, the plastic and the.
It was more of an aesthetic thing for me. So if you love an Squier, get an Squier and enjoy what it is. It's like it's a rock machine. And then if you want to at some point, change the pickup cover because they're already routed out and stick a pickup in it. Job's a good one.
Put a nice proper is it Texas Special for the front one?
No, I've got a Seymour Duncan something in mind. I can't remember which one. Absolutely brilliant. Love it.
Nice.
Yeah. Atari Wolf, in relative terms, do you think pro guitars have increased in price over the decades? Is it hard to justify guitars over £3,000? That's a really good question.
See, it's funny because I'm not primarily a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
I do struggle to spend more than, let's say, 1,500 quid on a guitar.
£1,500. That's a decent amount of money.
But you are getting a lot of guitar for that money.
Yeah.
You know, my first let's call it pro guitar was my Eggle. And that, even back then, when I was 19, 20, was an over £1,000 guitar. So that's a 20-year-old instrument, and it was over £1,000 back then.
Mm-hmm.
My only other over £1,000 guitar is my acoustic, which was 1,800 quid, but for a much, much more expensive guitar because I got an amazing deal. Now ask me if I've spent stupid amounts of money on a snare drum. Different question, because that's my thing. That's mainly where my living comes from, playing drums rather than being a guitar player. Yeah, dropping £6,000 on a drum kit was an ask.
Yeah,
but it's still, it's the best drum kit I've ever played. Would I get another one? Hell yeah. I don't see the point in getting another one of the same thing because it's so utterly amazing. But is £3,000 is a lot of money to spend on a guitar. You are going to get a lot of guitar for £3,000.
Yeah. Has the price increased? I think the price has increased. I think the quality's got better. I don't know about you, but I mean, there was some. I mean, you probably couldn't even get a £3,000 guitar back in the 90s. I mean, maybe some Valley Arts or something.
What was the Mark Knopfler? Yeah, they were super expensive, weren't they?
Yeah, so that's John Sir from Sir Guitars.
Yeah,
the pence. I can't remember who the pencil was. Some guy in New York, I think.
But they were uber expensive. I remember thinking that's the most expensive guitar, and then all of a sudden I was looking at basses, and you're seeing basses at 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 quid. Why are basses more expensive than six strings? They seem to have caught up. Electric guitars versus basses have caught up, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot more wood in a bass, though, isn't there?
But it's a lot less, and I'm going to get shot down in flames, I'm sure. But I always think there's a bit less tolerance in an electric guitar because the strings are so much finer. Whereas a bass, you've got a certain amount of girth to the thing,
right?
Hence a bit more room for error. I've played some amazing basses. I've played some dogs, but I still think a bass, and it's easier to make a bass and get it right than it is to make a six string. Sorry.
Is it hard to justify guitars over £3,000? I think
also Atari. You have to then justify this. Are you justifying it to yourself or to your spouse?
I know. I get it. I get it. I think if you're buying a £3,000 guitar, I still would try and get a second-hand one because that it's always going to be worth, if you buy the right one, it's going to be worth £3,000. If you go and buy a PRS for £3,000, next day it's going to be worth £2,000. Yeah.
The minute it's like the Aston Martin principle, isn't it? The minute you've driven it off the forecourt, it's a third of the value off. The other thing I think to think about here is, at what point do you suffer with buyer's remorse?
Me?
Yeah, generally. I mean, because at 3,000 quid, that has got to be not just the greatest guitar ever in the store. It's got to be the greatest guitar ever when I get home, and the next day, and the next week, and the next month, and the next year. Buyer's remorse is a very dangerous thing. Getting it home and going, oh God, I've just spent £3,000 on this, and I'm not sure. That's a really dangerous place to be. Whereas if you've got £500-600 guitar buying limit, and you can get some great guitars for 500-600 quid. It's not so much of a buyer's remorse moment of, oh my God, how am I gonna feed the kids next week? £3,000's a lot of money.
Yeah, never spend what you can't afford, without a doubt.
It says that we've all had credit card debt, so let's not go there.
Hey, I haven't got a credit card.
Have you not?
No, I don't. I just don't. I don't like debt. My only debt is my mortgage.
Wow.
Okay. Where are we? Kreenar says, what happened to the PRS studio guitar purchase idea? So hopefully we're going to check one of them out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know actually if they're in the country yet.
We'll see.
We'll see. David Stockton, normal trem.
They're in the same container as the Neurals.
That's true. What the purchase? Oh, hold on. Everything's just sorry. The questions keep going up, and then I'm reading a question, then it shoots up. Here we go. Normal trem is the Axis Super Sport. Axis is the one with the Floyd.
Right. Okay.
Cool. But it's not like the what did I just say? The Music Man. The guy from. I said there's two Music Mans that I would buy.
Luke and the Valentine.
James Valentine.
James Valentine, not Eric
James Valentine. The James Valentine's more like a telly,
right?
Than it's not. So it's got a humbucker, I think, in the neck, and it's got it looks like a humbucker, but it's a single coil in the bridge. So it's very different. It's more like a telly than a EVH.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Acoustic channel with the EQ diamond works the same as the power amp in. Acoustic channel. Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Oh, nice one.
Right. Cool. There you go.
There you go. So whoever that was asking about the where were we? Black Dream. So so Kreenar says run your acoustic channel with the EQ diamond.
Yep.
Try it. Give it a go. You could also try it on the acoustic amp channel. I think that's probably the best. Yeah, the best choice there. Renee says, I was wondering about the cab for the Rev D20 at home. Do you recommend a 1x12, 2x12, or just a torpedo on studio? Excuse me. Or just a torpedo on studio speakers?
I would, to be honest, if you're using it at home, just on the studio speakers. That way you're getting out what you need, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always prefer a 2x12 cabinet. I just do. I like a 2x12. I don't really like the sound of a 1x12.
Yeah. Yeah. I like 1x12s.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got one of those. What did I get? The one of those Victory 1x12s. It's over there. That side. You can see it there. Yeah. Sounds really good. The cream back in it. John Green says James did a great video recently on improvising a bass sound. Very good.
Improving a bass sound, even not improvising.
Sorry, I'm trying to read. I'm trying to read, and things are moving. Improving a bass sound. Yeah.
Yeah. Steel bass. I love it.
Yes, it's good. Yeah, good choice that.
And if you do like it so much and you buy it, do make sure you use the links in the video rather than just going straight to the website, because to be quite honest, we get a kickback. There you go. I said it out loud.
Not much.
Not a lot.
£3. Or you get a kickback.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I thought, should we just, we will do all the questions, and if you want to keep asking questions, we'll definitely get around to them. But should we just to break things up a little bit, should we have a look at new gear this week?
Yes.
Okay. Shall I share?
Please do.
I'm sharing
some new toys. We like new toys. Say when. Okay, I can see. Done. Oh, look at that!
It's nice, isn't it?
That I could go for.
It's nice, isn't it? So yeah, Mike McCready of Pearl Jam. Fender have done a custom shop version of it. Do you want to know how much it is?
I'm really scared. I'm going to go in with, I reckon, 7.
Yeah. I think it's a master builder.
Right.
Yes, it's Vincent Van Trick. Okay, ready?
I'm really worried.
$15,000. Do you know what's annoying? Do you know what's annoying?
They'll sell some. They'll sell a lot. They'll sell some.
Oh, definitely. They definitely will. They definitely will. But what's really annoying is I was working in a music shop. I might have told this story in Streatham. I'm sure, James, you know what that music shop is. In Gig Sounds, when I was about 18. And this guy brought in, he didn't want it anymore. He brought in a 62 Strat. And the shop said, they're not selling. They're not selling. We'll put it up, we'll do it sale or return. We'll stick it up on the wall and we'll put it up. And the guy or the shop owner said, what do you want for it? And he said, 1,500 quid. And they put it up on the shop wall and it sat there for ages. And I kick myself every night. Yeah. Imagine buying a 62 Strat for 1,500 quid.
That's a 50 grand guitar now.
Probably not 50, but probably 30.
It's a lot of dough.
Yeah, a lot of dough. Okay, next thing. At last, Kemper brought out their speaker cabinet, and the thing I really like about it, I don't know if you can see this. If I do this, does that work?
Yes.
It's got a little volume. It's got a little chicken head.
Oh,
I like that.
Yeah, very nice.
It's cool, isn't it?
Very nice.
And it's not too bad. I mean, I thought it's Kemper. It's going to be expensive. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's it says £500.
Wow, that's not bad for a
no. I think that's really impressive.
Mm.
That's the same sort of price as. I mean, that's cheaper than the Line 6 power cab, whatever they're called.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah.
This I thought was really exciting.
Ooh.
So like the pedal switch, like a Boss ES8.
Yep.
This is Mua, who are a Chinese company, but it's a 6-loop pedal switcher.
Ooh, that's nice. So that's lots of different options.
Yeah. So the ES8 is 8.
Yeah.
So this is 6. So scale back a little bit. But do you want to know the best thing about it?
Price?
$189.
Oh, so 150 quid.
150 quid for a isolated.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. This I wasn't so excited about, but I thought I'd mention it. One of these pedalboard amps. It's a 1 watt valve pedalboard amp.
Quite cool.
Yeah. It's one of those. I think the only thing is it's 1 watt. What are you going to do with a 1 watt amp?
It's a studio amp, isn't it? 1 watt. It's probably your monitor, isn't it? If you're in that sort of environment where you're putting an amp on the pedal board, you're gonna have a dedicated one of those Friedman cabinets, for example, with the angle monitor shaped ones. Was it Friedman? I saw.
Yeah.
One of those, and it feeds straight off your thing, and put your microphone in front of it. Job's a good one, or however you want to mic it up. But I don't see the point in the studio having your amp on your pedal board unless you're moving a lot, unless you're transient.
Yeah, I don't know I mean, it's 1 watt. If it was 5 watts, I get it. But anyway, it's $439. Sorry,
it's probably going to sound great.
Yeah,
really juice the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I went to college with a guy who had a workshop above one of the stores in Denmark Street, or Tin Pan, affectionately known. He had he made 1 and 5 watt valve amps.
Nice.
That was the thing, and I so wanted to get one off him as well because he made really, really nice amps. But I've lost touch with him now.
You don't remember what make they were?
No, it was his own little thing. He just, he would make you an amp.
Yeah, but do you remember what you called it?
No, not at all. No, I don't even think it was branded. I think it was just, here you go, have an amp.
Oh, okay, like that. Okay, cool. And the other thing that you wanted to show was this.
Yes, very, very interesting. So two of my favorite products that SSL have ever come out with have been the SSL 6, the baby SSL console, and the SSL Fusion, which is the 2U rack mastering processor, the color processor. Amazing little units. And now you've got the channel strip of the 6 in a 500 series module. Now, depending on what you think about 500 series, I think 2 or 3 years ago at NAMM, for example, the world and his auntie was making 500 series modules. I mean, I think you could get actually one called My Auntie. But these days, 500 series seems to have dropped off the radar. There's not so many people making them. There's not so many people doing good ones. And for SSL to come up with this, it's a bit of a bold move because it's kind of like they've missed the 500 series train. It left the station some time ago. But I think that's a really smart piece of kit. They've also come up with a new one, the ultraviolet, which is the EQ section from the Fusion, and it's a 2U.
Oh, is it stereo? Is it a stereo one?
Yes.
It's okay. I didn't notice the EQ from that. That's better.
It's the EQ from the Fusion, but it's got giving you a few more whistles and bells as well. Really, really nice.
Yeah, great.
And not expensive either. Either case, not
because it's made in China. This is the thing about SSL now, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, it's a beautifully constructed. Everyone thinks that China. Everyone still has this hang up that Chinese means nasty. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Those days are long gone.
Okay. You ready to drop me out?
You're out.
That's it. Okay. Okay. Cool. David Fisher. Huh? Sorry.
Cool. Okay. Crack on.
David Fisher says, I have Ableton Live 11 intro with Reason instruments and effects and Odyssey. I have studio monitors, a Focusrite Scarlett audio interface, a Boss Katana Mark 200 watt, and several guitars, a Shure microphone, and a few pedals with limited funds. Do I have a decent studio? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If you think what you could do with that, what you can do with that would have taken a £1 million recording studio 20 years ago.
Yes, totally true. I actually have a theory. Can I explain my theory?
Yep.
And I'll do this kind of from here. So if over here, I'll do it the other way around. If over here is day 1, week 1 with a Fostex 4-track, and over here is Abbey Road, Capitol, pick your legendary studio. And so let's say that's a meter. So 100 centimeters. Most of us with our gear and our bedroom studios can probably get to about 93, 94 centimeters in quality.
Yeah.
And tech, because quite frankly, the gear that we've got, the new gear we've got, is affordable now. Anyone could have a Pro Tools HD rig. Anyone could have a Thunderbolt enabled interface that's the same stuff as they're using at the big studios.
Mm-hmm.
To get that last 6 to 8 centimeters on that ruler is 10 million quid, because it isn't gear. It's infrastructure. It's people. It's the building. It's the rooms. It's having a receptionist, having a cafe, having an on-site maintenance team. Nothing ever dies. Working 24/7. It's all those things that go into making those big facilities like Capitol and Abbey Road. And I was about to rattle off 3 studios that I know aren't there anymore.
Yeah. But that's the reason why. That's the reason why they're not there, because all this equipment now is great and people can do it from home.
It's affordable and it sounds really, really good. All you have to remember is that the first Scissor Sisters album was made in an apartment in Manhattan. Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, for all its faults and glitches and stuff, is a massive album that was made in an apartment room.
Because that album does actually sound. I really liked it. I really liked it at the time, and I liked how raw it sounded. But it's quite a rough album, isn't it?
There's so much distortion on the vocal that's not supposed to be there. I was listening to my childhood crush, my childhood music crush was Gloria Estefan. And I was listening to Cuts Both Ways, the album, and my mate was pointing out all the digital distortion on it. And I was like, no,
You've got to be a bit of an odd one to start picking out digital distortion, start, to know exactly what minute and second.
Yeah, but to be honest,
you need
it's really obvious. When you know it's there, it's really obvious.
It's like I always like in if you listen to Friday I'm in Love by The Cure. It's not, but it's right at the end of the song. It sounds like someone does a little fart in the background.
I know what you mean.
And I love that. Anyway,
carry on.
A little poop toot. Okay, Bruce Brooks at Black Dream. Not trying to be funny, but try and sell the 50 and upgrade to 100 if you can. Much more versatile. I originally ordered a 50 and upped it to 100. Smart move. Yeah, I do agree. If you can afford it, but don't think you have to. There is ways around it. If you can't afford 100, stick with a 50. It's a great little amp. It's a pleasure. Floaf. Andy John. Okay. Thanks for the advice. So I'm just trying to get past the thank yous and where are we? Plugging your modeler into the acoustic channel. Karina says, Black Dream, before you make moves, try plugging your modeler into the acoustic channel of the Katana 50 and push all the EQ knobs to 100% and see how you like it. Definitely worth trying. Atari Wolf, if you're going in mono with your guitar into your audio interface, how do you get a stereo signal into your DAW when using guitar emulations? So there's different ways of doing that. So some I can explain it. Some channels will, if you've got a mono channel, some DAWs will instantly switch when you load in a stereo plugin. It will switch from a mono input, mono output to a mono input stereo channel. What's my other thought?
And some guitar emulations do that as well. So, for example, some of the UAD models are stereo output, not mono output.
Are they?
Yeah, some of them are. Some of them have got stereo effects on them.
What ones?
The Marshall Silver Jubilee has got some crazy stereo stuff going on.
Is that the soft tube one? Yes, that's soft tube, isn't it? I haven't heard that. Okay, interesting.
Because I got in trouble because someone said it was out of phase, and I was like, what? And then UAD came back to me and said, no, some of the, depending on how the mics are configured in the output, because you've got the three slider, haven't you, for some of them?
Yep.
Some of them are stereo, some of them are mono, depending on the effects.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Excuse me. Where are we? Steve Ball, Secret Agent. Yeah, that's the the pickup, the hidden pickup. It's called a Secret Agent.
Right.
It's a cool name, actually. I like that. Yeah, Krino says Seymour Duncan, Secret Agent. God, we're quite far back, aren't we? How do you gain stage when recording with guitar into your VST into your DAW? There are so many ways to decrease your volume. It's confusing. It is really confusing.
It is.
That's a really good question. I'm not sure I do. I go in. I always start with the preamp back on 0 because I'm using the Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if you put it in a unison slot, you can't do anything with it because the unison the preamp knob becomes something else, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Just turn it up until you're getting what you want out of it. If it still sounds good, it sounds good. If it sounds rubbish, it sounds rubbish. Turn it back.
I think Atari, what you're referring to is if you're plugging your guitar straight into your interface, where is the right point? Where's the sweet spot to hit your guitar amp emulations? And the honest answer is that all of the, other than UA, who, if you use one of their unison models, except the Fender Deluxe, will always be at 0 gain. Effectively, that's the sweet spot for driving the amp. Everybody else, it's a game. It's a measurement game. And I would always say start low because most go under because most DAWs will allow you to bring the gain up in the recording. In Pro Tools, it's called clip gain. And that's effectively the same as hitting the amp or your effect at the right level.
That's true, actually.
Always record under rather than recording over, because if you record over, you're recording more harmonics, richer signal. It's not how a guitar works. But you do also want to make sure you are hitting the instrument input, not a line level input, as in a high impedance input, because a line level and high impedance inputs are not the same. So if you've got something like a Zen Go, Antelope Audio Zen Go, which has got these combi jack things, XLR, line level and instrument level on the same input, make sure you have it set to instrument input, because that makes the impedance correct.
Yeah.
And that will make more difference than any amount of gain faffing you could ever imagine. Do make sure you use the correct input settings.
Renee says, here in Norway, the prices of used instruments of quality has really increased. The difference from a new one is much less, but you might get some good buys though. Yeah.
Also, the way I normally save money on instruments is buying them in the right country. I normally try and buy a guitar when I'm out in the US because it's just cheaper. It's just cheaper. Did I ever tell the story about the Marshall amp?
No.
So when I was a kid, well, I say kid, a teen, I had a girlfriend whose dad was a serving US serviceman in one of the air bases around Suffolk area. And we used to go up at Bentwaters up at the weekend. We got to Bentwaters onto the base, and they had the BX, the big shopping center and stuff, and they had Krispy Kreme and all the kind of American brands and themes that we didn't have. And I remember going into the BX, into the kind of the high tech, the music bit, and looking at a Marshall valve amp, the valve amp that I always wanted, which everyone knows was a JCM 900, and it was cheaper to buy an amp that had been made in Milton Keynes, bought by the US, shipped over to the US, bought by the US government, shipped back to Suffolk, being bought on a US airbase. It was like £400-500 cheaper than it was to go into a music shop in Milton Keynes because of the way the strength rates were.
No, it isn't just that. It's because of the service. You know, everything's cheaper for servicemen in those shops.
Yeah, but I mean, it was, even though it had done this enormous multi-thousand-mile round trip, it was still so much cheaper. It is cheaper to buy music in the States. So if we end up going in January to NAMM or whatever it ends up being, I think we go anyway, to be honest. Just don't tell the girls. They'll never know.
No. I think I'm going to be skint after tomorrow anyway, so...
So I think there's definite legs in trying to buy when you're in the right country. And also the trick with the NAMM flight is, I remember you saying to me, how did you get a guitar back? So, well, everyone coming home from NAMM is carrying a guitar, whether they bought it there or not. Everyone's going out with a guitar.
So true.
So I hope the customs officers are listening or watching this.
Matt says in the early 1990s, he bought his 1966 Gibson 335. Recently, he's seen 3 of the same year selling between 8 to 12k. Never will sell it, but it's a wonderful to pass on to my son. See, that's the sort of thing that I mean. It's a lovely thing. I mean, that's why I've got my. You can't see it over there, but you can see it in my other videos. That Fender Rhodes. Don't use it very much. Use it rarely. You know, maybe once, twice a year. But it's something that's always going to.
But when you do use it, it's a magical. Tingly.
It's a cool thing, definitely. Where are we? DMAC. Can you explain how the torpedo works as an attenuator in the Rev, or is it just a switch like on the Katana or Marshall Origin? For whatever reason, I can't seem to get my head around how it works. So there's 2 different things. The torpedo doesn't attenuate. The Rev D20's got a button on it which switches it from 20 watts to 5 watts.
So that is attenuator.
Yeah, but that's Rev's thing. It's not two notes.
Mhm.
And then on the back you can switch off, so you can completely cut the volume. So that's Rev's technology, I think.
Yeah.
And then think of it like the preamp runs into this digital circuit, which is made by two notes, the torpedo side of things. That thing, you've got some processing which you can plug in a USB cable, and then you've got an XLR out the back, which is basically your DI out, which is an emulated out with the emulation of the microphones and speakers that you want to use.
Yeah. And it works really well. It's brilliant.
It does work really well, yeah. It's really good. For me, I think the two notes torpedo is the studio is fantastic. I think that's the most natural feeling one. So they're really good. Two note stuff's brilliant. Where are we? Renee, thanks for your advice. I was wondering about buying that exact cab. Yeah, it's a good cab. It's a really good cab. He's talking about the victory thing.
Yep.
Larry, God, Larry's still here. He normally buggers off after about 20 minutes. A pal just got first series electric guitar, Gibson 335 in natural. Oh, nice.
Oh.
3K. Astonishing thing, makes my heart flutter. Drop in the ocean for him, multi-millionaire. Point being, it's horses for courses. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree, mate. Absolutely. It's scary. But that's a lot of money. $3,000 for any guitar is a lot of money, I think.
It's a lot of money, yeah. Definitely. It's loads of money. Atari Wolf, will digital emulations ever crack the coveted in the room sound as we guitarists will crave? Yeah, definitely.
Eventually. They're pretty close now.
Yeah, I think they're pretty close. I think we're nearly there. If we're not already there. Bruce Brooks, in 1967, I bought my first electric guitar. The store had a beat up old red Strat. Oh no. And a shiny Hagstrom 2, both $75. Of course, I had to have the shiny new one. Oh, $75. Oh man,
that's gonna hurt. Right, keep talking. I need to change my batteries.
Okay. John Waller says, afternoon, James and Paul. I was wondering if you have any tips on the best way to increase the volume of the sound of the Katana when using USB audio through monitors and headphones. Everyone has this problem. I keep getting questions about this. Yeah, just okay. So you just need to turn the volume up. If you think the Katana is not a valve amp, so don't worry about turning up the. Let me see if I can load up a.
I've never done it, so I can't say. I've never actually run my Katana USB.
I'm going to see if I can load up Tony Studio without actually. Yeah, I can. Okay, James, can you switch me over?
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah,
we're on.
Okay, great. Okay, so just turn the volume up. And honestly, it's not a valve amp, so you're not really going to be increasing the preamp gain, like you would on a valve amp. The gain is here.
Yeah,
it's going to affect it a little bit, but not in a way that you're going to worry about. Also, okay, James, can you take me out?
You're out.
Okay. Sorry, I can't see you now. There we go. Also, don't worry about it. Don't worry about a low signal, because if you're recording in at least 24-bit, which everyone does now, unless you've got like a really old sound card. And James, you know any DAWs that don't record in 24-bit now?
No, they all
okay
do.
So 24-bit basically means you've got so much headroom in your recording that
it's not headroom, it's dynamic range, isn't it?
Dynamic range. Okay.
Yeah, basically you don't have to record. You don't have to record up here all the time to get out of the noise floor. So you can record in the middle of the bounce is quite an acceptable place. You don't have to be up here.
Yeah. So headroom and dynamic range is more or less the same thing.
Horses for course.
Oh. So yeah. So even if you think it's too low, which I'll be very surprised if it's too low. It might just sound too low, or it might look too low, but don't worry about it. If you want to just clip gain it up, that's absolutely fine.
Totally legit.
And honestly, you will not be losing quality. It's not like old tape days where, as James was saying, you have to record really loud, so you got above the noise floor. We don't have to worry about that anymore.
I remember doing my first ever big band recording to a cassette 4-track.
A big band record?
Yeah, we were basically, we had a 24-track, 24 Soundcraft Spirit console.
I remember them.
Yeah, and we were running saxes, trumpets, trombone, rhythm. Those were the 4 channels.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And everything was being mixed down live. It was awful. And to get it over the noise floor, bear in mind, a big band is a dynamic thing. From the very loudest blast to the very quiet. I mean, you go, bap, shh, bap. It was awful. It was awful.
Yeah, shocking. Hope that helps, John. Bruce Brooks says Boston's first album was made in Tom Schultz's basement. That's right, it was. And then Tom Schultz made the Rockmen and stuff, didn't he? And did all that stuff. Yeah, what a genius.
I hate him.
Absolute genius. And great songs. David Brose says, I recently bought a 1978 Gibson Explorer. Isn't that one you want?
That's the one I want.
Okay, he recently bought a 1978 Gibson Explorer, and I hate it. There, I said it to James. James will buy it off you. Ever bought a guitar that the body didn't ever grow onto? Okay, I moved to Fender Rhodes every gig for 4 years. My back no longer works. Yeah, they're really heavy, aren't they?
I'd love an Explorer.
Would you?
I'd love an Explorer.
David, sell you this one.
78. I think that might push my £1,500 guitar buying budget out the window.
I don't know what that's worth. Have I ever bought? Yes, without a doubt. I'm trying to think of one.
I've actually bought very few guitars that I don't still own.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I've sold one guitar ever, and that was a MIDI, one of those. Who are they called? What was the company? They made a guitar with a MIDI pickup in it.
Parker Fly?
No, it wasn't a Parker Fly. It was another. It was an American brand, and they did it again. Did a Korean spin-off with a hex pickup, with a Roland hex pickup.
Not Godan.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No, it wasn't someone like really good. Can't remember. But anyway, I was given one at Sibelius, and it was okay. It was playable, but it wasn't an awesome guitar. And the whole Roland G series pickup thing just and I got rid of it because it didn't do anything for me. And that's the only guitar I've ever sold. Everything else I've kept.
I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Les Pauls, where I've bought a few Les Paul. I've never found the right Les Paul.
Yeah.
So I had a Fender 1960 custom shop.
Right.
That I've done some videos on it. I only sold it fairly recently. The bridge pickup was amazing. Neck pickup wasn't so good. Not that, you can obviously change pickups, but that guitar just dived. I think the neck dived, or the body dived. I can't remember what happened. I'd constantly hold it all the time. I've had a couple of Les Pauls I haven't found yet, and I know I've just got to look for the right Les Paul. I've got to find the right Les Paul.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you choose guitars. I think guitars choose you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair comment.
There's because I'm just trying to think if I've never sold a guitar. I've only ever sold one guitar, but I know you've got quite happy at passing guitars on, and
there's certain guitars I wouldn't. There's certain guitars I wouldn't pass on.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway, just
good question though. Where are we? Terry Wolf, do you reckon some successful rock albums have used VST emulations to record the guitars and have kept quiet about it so they can stay authentic to their guitar fans? Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Without a doubt. All the time. Especially, I mean, okay, let's take it back to when guitar amp. Okay, let's not say VST emulations, but let's take it back to, we just talked about Tom Schultz. Let's talk about Hysteria. I mean, to me, that's an amazing sounding album. The whole album was recorded on a Rockman, which is basically a Walkman. It was a portable guitar Walkman thing that you could plug headphones in and walk around with it, and it sounded brilliant. And that is the sound of Hysteria, and it's a brilliant sounding album. So yes, even now, and technology's moved on.
Well, let's face it. How many metal albums are now entirely made on Kempers?
Well, not even that, but even VST emulations.
Yeah.
And drum kits now. I mean, especially metal albums. It's all the kick and snare are just. Yeah, it's a sample. So everything is now moving. I'm not saying it's everything's moving that way, but I don't think people have a problem, especially producers, have a problem with using VSTs because if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. Jeff Shields, he got a Sir Alt T recently. Nice one. Once in a lifetime 3K purchase, no regrets. My daughter encouraged me to go for it. YOLO, she says. What's YOLO? What does that stand for?
You only live once.
Nice one. Absolutely. Well done, Jeff.
As long as you haven't just blown her college fund.
That's a great guitar, though. Sir Alt T, great guitar. Matt Wright says, I think the UAD Fender Deluxe is modelled on the Neil Young 1955 tweed style amp, so it breaks up very early. The classic clean Fender tones came slightly later with the blackface amps, 1964 onwards. I need to get a nice Fender amp.
Do you know what? I was looking at an old Princeton the other day, and I thought, 900 quid.
But second hand, was that?
Yeah, but on eBay.
New one for about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, but the new ones are not the same as the old ones. We all know that, or are they?
Find out tomorrow, won't we?
I was looking at a Princeton. And I thought, or a friend of mine had a Vibra King for sale, the one with the 4x10.
Yeah,
and I thought, oh, I mean, he's probably the loudest guitarist I've ever played on stage with. But I thought his ones will have been looked after and well serviced, etc., etc. He's an absolute Stevie Ray nut, so he would have been they would have been well looked after. But yeah, it's a lot of money for an amp that's not necessarily in my sonic wheelhouse. Would come out. At the moment, I'd rather buy a JC 120 than I would a Fender.
Oh.
You don't get that at all, do you? You don't understand
that. I just remember having one of them in a guitar shop once, in Gig Sounds when I was working at Gig Sounds.
Gig Sounds,
and just trying to get, and I know it's not designed for that. Just trying to get some sort of drive out of it, and it was horrible. It was just the worst sounding drive I've ever heard.
Man in me is coming out.
Sorry.
The Marillion fan in me coming out.
Oh, I liked, I liked some of the Marillion stuff. I quite liked, he had some good tones. Okay. Matt Wright also says the UAD PT100, which is a Pete Thorne Sir amp, has a very Fender style clean channel. Nice. Avijit Makab. I have a Boss Katana 50. Excuse me if I butchered your name, Avijit. I have a Boss Katana 50 Mark II and a Squier bullet Strat. Squier bullet Strat.
Yeah.
I want a solo tone which has a very long sustain, like an Avenged Sevenfold. What should I do, mate? You got the wrong guitar for that. I would say
it's going to be something humbuckery, isn't it? For that,
yeah, I would. I mean, I wonder. I did some videos quite early on when I was doing the Boss Katana videos, and using the clean channel, and and some of the pedals, some of the overdrive pedals. Have a look at that, because you might find that gets you there. Other than, I think the Boss, I've said this before, but the Boss lead channel and the Brown channel, they're not really very good. I don't think they're not as good as a clean channel with drives in front of it.
Yeah, I've had more success getting interesting tones out of clean with pedals rather than I have just gone straight in for the distorted channels.
Yeah, using the Boss, the pedals that are built in. Yeah. John Waller, heavy metal albums for sure have been made with plugins. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Is there any issue with certain woods being sent to the UK? I don't know. I think the CITES thing's finished now.
Yeah.
I think you probably still have to have
certification things for anything seriously exotic.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you can take out a Brazilian rosewood. If you can't do it anymore, if you can't take it out,
I wouldn't risk it because they'll confiscate it and you'll never see it again.
Oh, that would be awful, wouldn't it? Because they do PRSs with solid Brazilian rosewood necks.
The McCarty, the original McCartys were like that, weren't they?
They might have been. I don't know what a Brazilian, what a solid rosewood neck sounds like. I bet that's got to be quite
dark. I would have thought.
Yeah, I would have thought dark. Yeah,
dark.
No one. Oh, it has a humbucker. Oh no, you'll be fine, mate. I mean, you might want to try, because the Squier Bullet is from what I remember, the Squier Bullet, they probably don't even make them anymore. But it was quite a budget guitar. You might want to think about changing the humbucker. It won't cost you, a lot of money, getting like a Seymour Duncan or something. And you might have a bit more luck with it.
The Jeff Beck humbucker.
JB.
Yeah, sounds great on those. A friend of mine had a Strat. We put one of those in. I went, oh my God, that sounds amazing. It doesn't sound like a Strat anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if you want some real sort of heavy tones out of it, possibly think of some of the higher output humbuckers. I personally don't like high output humbuckers because they're a bit dark. I prefer like a more puffy sort of sounding one. But for the sort of heavier music, you might find that suits it. Have a listen to Rabir Massad. He's got, I can't remember what he calls them. His humbucker, he's got like a signature humbucker that's made by Bare Knuckle, and that's like really high output, I think. And that always, I mean, he's amazing. He sounds
makes a good noise.
Oh yeah, guitar tones awesome. John Russell, have you tried a 92 Gibson Les Paul Studio Light? Oh no, I haven't. I don't even know what that is.
Chambered?
Possibly. I mean, they've done quite a lot of chambering recently.
Yeah. I mean, it makes that mahogany plank a liftable thing, because mine's solid and goes. Not that that's a bad thing. It's got an amazing tone on it for a.
What do you mean? What do you mean it goes there? What do you mean?
As in the body, the headstock is so light by comparison to the body. I put it on my hand and go.
Oh, I see. On the it dives. Yeah,
yeah.
They do dive. Yeah, I've got a thing about Les Pauls. Maybe we'll try some out tomorrow. Got to run. Yeah, pleasure, Renee. That's I'm glad it helped. John Green says CITES Article 10 still exists for Brazilian. Interesting.
Right. Yeah. So you can get Peruvian rosewood and mahogany. You should be all right there. But Brazilian, if it's landing strip, just stay well clear.
David Bro says that's what I meant. Sorry, it's shut up again.
Yeah, it's all right. We're there.
I think he means CITES. Yeah, I think David's spelling keeps updating. Iron Gear do some good budget humbuckers. Ooh. I don't know Iron Gear stuff. Interesting. Do you know what I had? I had a again when I worked in Gig Sound. That's the third time I mentioned it. I had a so there was a guitar luthier that worked downstairs called Bernie Goodfellow. Do you remember Bernie Goodfellow?
I know the name. Yeah.
And he in his workshop he had this SG, this P90 SG that I later found out was a really early one. Well, not that early. It was like a 60s one.
Right.
And I'm such an idiot. So I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Oh, do you want it? You can have it for 150 quid." And it was just the body. Obviously, the body, neck,
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, I'll have that." And he said, I'll put some P90s in it. I'll get the Wilkinson ones. So he ordered some Wilkinson P90s.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded amazing. I can't believe I got rid of it. So my point is, Wilkinson P90s are like 15 quid each.
They sound amazing. You get some really cheap stuff that can sound amazing on the right guitar in the right setting, the right music. Some really nice open sounding pickups that sound amazing that cost you peanuts.
Yeah, I think pickups are a thing of. I think that's become something that's been twisted.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing expensive in a pickup.
Twisted. Sorry, don't you mean wound?
Wound. Yeah, but it has though, isn't it? Because it's almost like I'm trying to think of another example of something that's really expensive and just doesn't cost that much to make.
Yeah. Can't think of anything. Struggling.
Yeah. Where are we? Is it illegal to listen to John Mayer and Slayer in the same playlist?
However you get your kicks, I ain't judging, because I've had all sorts. I had Dream Theater, Toto, and the Frozen 2 soundtrack on my journeys today. I was with the kids.
John Mayer and Slayer is quite.
It's certainly one end to other of the guitar playing spectrum, isn't it?
Sure is. Wow. No, you're fine, mate. Lando at work, can't stay. Just popped in and say hi. Hello, mate. John Russell. Yes, it's chambered, and the voids are plugged with balsa wood. Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
That's
so you still get the density, but you don't get the weight.
Nice.
You still get the transmission. A good idea. I like that.
Keep my eyes open. John Waller says, Paul, loving your technique videos. One thing that I have done to provide more substance to my practice sessions is using GarageBand. Other DAWs would work as a practice tool. Have you explored that? Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's really good. It's, it's everything on there, haven't you? You've got a metronome, you've got a way of recording ideas and then playing over the top of the ideas. It's almost like a loop station that you can, you can do stuff with. If you use Studio One, I did this thing once. Did a workshop demonstrating it with Studio One. You can literally just set up a loop, record, and then let it play. So you never stop, and it's just constantly moving back and forth. It's playing the loop. And then you can load up a new track, load some plugins into it, record that, and it's just never stopping. It's constantly going around. Hold on, Alexa's
trouble connecting to the internet. Take a look at the help section in your Alexa app.
Hopefully she'll
finish, love.
Yeah. Okay. Avijit says it's now 2 a.m. here in India. Wow. Still watching your stream, mate. You're dedicated. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So John Wallace says, yeah, using loops as background tracks. Yes. It's really good way of doing it. Bruce Brooks is a $225 Harley Benton semi-hollow telly with their Roswell P90, and it sounds great. Awesome. Yeah, I keep hearing good things about them.
The Harley Benton stuff's really come on from being dog unplayable to actually being quite nice instruments these days.
I saw a video today. I didn't watch it, but someone was showing their they've just done like a Les Paul thing. It looked amazing. Like the finish of it.
My only thing with the Harley Benton stuff, because it's all Thomann, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Is where do you go and try it out? When you get it, do you get a good one or a Friday afternoon job?
Well, if you live in Germany, it's all right, I guess.
Yeah. And also bear in mind, if you live in the UK now, you're going to get stung with import tax.
Yeah.
Which does hurt. Which is a shame.
Amazing. But I think that's the point of the video that I made. You've got $225 Harley Benton, and the difference of like a £3,000 guitar, and it's just, it's not gonna. It would never stop me buying expensive guitars.
Because you're a guitar snob.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm no better. I wouldn't. If I saw a snare drum and it was 200 quid versus one that was £1,000, I'm still going to gravitate to one of that's £1,000 quid because I just am. I am that idiot.
Yes. Avjit says, thinking about buying a wah pedal. Which one should you get to get the slash light tone? I think they've got a slash one, haven't they?
A /1. I bucked the trend. It's funny. It's due to Gig Sounds that I've got most of the guitar pedals that I've got.
Oh really?
And I wanted a Crybaby, but they didn't have a Crybaby. They had a Morley, and he said I can let you have the Morley for a good price. And I went okay. And I was on ships, and they used to, what they do is they would send me. I'd put like an order in for a load of stuff, and they would send it down to Portsmouth for me to pick up the next time we were in port.
Right. Oh, interesting.
And this enormous box of stuff, so that'd be heads and strings and any goodies that I wanted. But because I was so desperate to get there exactly the right time, although I'd miss it for another 2 weeks. Whatever you've got, just whack it all in there and charge me. I think I helped them clear out their store cupboards several times. He'll have that.
Yeah, it was a bit like that in there. Just get the Dunlop. I think that they do a Dunlop slash. They do Dunlop one for everybody. It's mental. You could get you can even get a Kurt Hammett one. You'd ever want that?
Yes.
I feel bad now.
Why?
I've insulted Kurt Hammett's wah tone. I just hate that. Okay, last few questions. Need to level crown and polish the frets though on the Harley. That's one of the things. So when you buy a guitar for $225, you still have to go and spend $50 on a luthier or maybe $100 on a luthier. So it's a shame they can't get it right before it gets sent to you.
Yeah.
David Brose, will you please do a video on guitar amp effects loops? I'm totally clueless. Most of my amps are old, and I bought my first amp with one. I'm old, mates. Yeah, sure. Think about an effect loop. Think about, yes, I'll definitely do a video, but as a quick tip, if you want like clean sounding, so when I say clean sounding, delays and reverbs, put that in the effects loop, because then they're not being distorted by the front of the amp. But yes, I'll do a video on that. I think I did a video actually on delays going into the front of the amp or in an effects loop, so you'll hear the difference.
But I think something on leveling, getting the level right in the effects loop as well, because on a mini amps you have various level settings for the effects loop and stuff. And does that make a difference? And if so, what difference does it make? Is it good? Is it bad? Etc. Etc. Keeping you up.
Sorry, you've been yawning all the way through this.
No, I'm shattered.
Yes, I will do, David. Jeff says, when you has the Friedman, I guess he means when you had the Friedman guitar pool, was the sound issue you had because of the trem? Did you buy a hardtail? I've had 2 Friedmans, and both of them have had trem problems.
Okay.
Yes, although I tried, one of the best Friedmans I ever tried was in Anderton's, and they had a Telestar one that I think it had a humbucker in the neck and a single coil, and it was red, and it was amazing. And that was a hardtail, and that sounded absolutely brilliant. Matt Wright says, thanks so much, guys. Dad duty's calling. Yeah, see you later. See you next week, Matt. Bruce says, I have the Harley Benton and a custom shop telly with Texas special pickups and a Bigsby B5 trem. Love them both. Nice. Volker Carl says, Yamaha Pacificas are a great bargain, especially the 3-in-1. Yep, definitely. I've played some Yamaha. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
My fave metal band, I guess he means Metallica.
I think he's asking us.
Oh, I see. What is my fave metal band?
There's only one metal band. Iron Maiden, baby.
Is there? You like Iron Maiden?
I love a bit of Maiden. I see. For me, that's proper metal. Whereas the stuff I like, Dream Theater and all that sort of stuff, that's prog rock, prog metal. It's clever. Whereas Maiden is proper up the front, giving it large. Back in the day with long hair.
Would you say? No, I'm not going to. The thing about metal, isn't it? It's one of those genres where people are
very subgenre. It's like, is Metallica metal or is it thrash?
I like. Okay, what's the band with Ollie Sykes as the singer? Oh, you guys can tell me. English sort of.
Is it Saxon? Someone like that?
No. More of a modern. Hold on, just give me 2 seconds. It's done me. You've done me now. Hold on.
See, Sabbath. Are Sabbath a metal band, or are they a rock? Are they a heavy rock band?
Sabbath. Yeah, it's a good one. Bring Me the Horizon.
Yes,
band.
great band. Great band.
And recently, do you know what I've been listening to? And I never appreciated is Slipknot. I never appreciate Slipknot.
I've done a get-in at the Birmingham NEC the night after Slipknot played. So as in their crew were out by 5-6 o'clock in the morning. We went in at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I have never gone into a venue that smelt so bad in my entire life. I have never smelt anything like it. It was just revolting. It took a day to get the smell of Slipknot out of the venue. And I don't mean them personally. I mean their entourage and their fans. Oh my God, it was revolting. So,
but I think, I really like singers that put 100% into their vocals. And for me, Ollie Sykes out of Bring Me the Horizon does that.
For me, that was Chris Cornell. If you want to vocalist,
brilliant. Yeah, but would you say Chris Cornell wasn't? Chris Cornell's not a metal.
He's a rock singer. Yeah, that's where Bruce Dickinson gives it 1,000% on every vocal.
I'm not into the whole sort of theatrical metal.
No, I love it. I love Maiden. I've seen Maiden 7 or 8 times, and it's. See, what are AC/DC? Are AC/DC metal or are they rock?
Hard rock. AC/DC. Now that is a band.
That's a band. That's how to take that for me. They're the ultimate easy band to mix. You put the faders up and the arrangement mixes.
Yeah.
The two guitars work beautifully together. The bass part just sits there. The drums hold it all together, and you've got either Bon or Brian Johnson vocalizing on the top. That's it. That's how that band works. I mean, my first school bands were doing Iron Maiden covers, were doing Guns N' Roses covers. That I grew up on that era. Metallica cover, the Metallica Black album was just like, was the album I was listening to at the time.
I want to start a rock covers band. I'd love that. I think I'd enjoy that.
Proper pub band, pub rock band.
Yeah.
I'll play drums for you, definitely.
It's not even for the money.
I'll even. Do you know what? I've said this so many times. I would love to be in a band that gigged just for pub money, for beer money.
Yeah.
Because I used to really enjoy pub gigs. I loved it. Not take it too seriously. Just play for the sake of playing.
Yes, completely agree. Bruce Brooks, Iron Maiden's better eye candy than Iron Maiden, without a doubt.
Yes, I've seen the Iron Maidens at NAMM a couple of times. Anyway, yes.
I've just seen. Surely, John, that's not true. Is that true? What would have happened to AC/DC if Noddy Holder had accepted the vocal job when he was offered it? Is that true? Oh, that would have been. I mean, how good is Brian Johnson?
Oh, I mean, I was caught on the rhythm of the railroad tracks.
Oh no, that would have been horrible. Wow, it's true.
You've been thunderstruck. It's been terrible.
No.
It's been
Wow.
That was my appalling Birmingham accent. I'm very sorry to any Brummies out there. Actually, I'm not.
Racist. Right. Okay. Should we call it a day?
I think we should.
Got any more questions? Oh, guys, if anyone's got any, for some reason, the subscriber count is as it hasn't dropped. It's still going up, but it isn't going up as much as it used to. If anyone's got any ideas of why that is, or ideas for other videos, let me know. Any sort of interesting videos you want made, and I'll keep asking it. But yeah, if there's anything that you guys want made, just let me know.
And we'll do our best to ignore you and do our own thing anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
I think tomorrow's video should be quite interesting.
Yeah, video or videos, depending on what we get time for.
That'd be good. We can do a few. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing too heavy duty, but just to hear some, I think just to hear some guitars would be great, and to hear some different stuff, and the comparison between saying, okay, this is a, I don't know, let's say Les Paul, let's say Fender Telecaster, Squier,
Yep,
classic vibe, high end, medium high, to actually hear the difference. What and
they've got
it'd be very interesting.
They've got a few Nick Hoobers in there, which are about 10 grand, which I'm never ever going to buy. Don't think I can ever afford that. I can't, but I think it'd be worthwhile just demonstrating some of those. They've got massive, huge necks.
Oh, I wonder what you were saying there for a minute.
Huh?
I wonder what you were saying there for a minute. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. It's been a pleasure as always. We will say we're going to go shopping tomorrow. It'd be quite nice to do some damage to the old car.
And I just answered John's question. Jack, we don't know actually. Jack's gone a bit quiet, so I'd love Jack to come back. Obviously, Jack is an awesome bloke, and yes, we miss having him on the show.
We do.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting one.
That's a very good one. Rhythm guitar playing. Yes,
that's really good. Thanks, Volker. That's a really good idea. I'll do that one next. I'll do that because I've been looking for another technique video.
Definitely somewhere I struggle.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good one. Thanks, Volker. Nice one.
Okay. All right, chaps and chapesses. Thanks for joining us as ever. Stay careful, stay safe. Don't spend too much money in the pub and all that sort of stuff. Until next week, we will see you very, very soon. Night, night, everyone.
Cheers, guys.